What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Man Kave Experience with myself, Cedric and the wonderful man I get to call my friend Ron Serving. Let me grab my little prop. Not really a prop, man, but
sure.
Something.
Sure.
Hey, there you go. Something I just kind of wanted to do and bring to y'all today, man, with with the topic we got going on. But Ron, what's happening, man? Before we jump in, what's good, bro?
Oh, what's good? Just I think for me, just kind of being more and more as I kind of I guess dig deeper in who I'm, who I am, who I'm being, all these things, and just sitting here right now and just really feeling good, just because my willingness is to keep exploring just how I react to things, how I process things, just being really open to more and more things in my life that can be better. So I'm feeling excited, just knowing I'm in a good place overall in my life, but just feeling good about the fact that there's so much more that I can continue to, learn from and evolve more and just be, something that I don't even know that I can be at this point. I mean, I have these big visions of myself, and I know that I work hard to, prove who I am as a father, as a parent, as a friend, but just still recognizing times where I'm, I wouldn't say falling short, but just opportunities just to create more. And so just knowing that, just being here, loving the space and loving the fact that we continue to commit to this, just with our intention, as we were talking earlier about, knowing that our intention is just to create, a foundational, great, deep friendship for us, for you and I, just in different places of the world, different things about who we are, and just tackling and discussing some of these topics that we come up with, that just at the very least is just keeping things, kind of moving in a positive direction for us as men, as fathers, and knowing that there may be those out there that might listen in that can benefit from a word or a sentence or a thought or anything else that comes up as a result of that. And just how cool is that? In this world today, which seems to be chaotic, I'm a believer that we create this chaos outside of us and how we process it. But how can we on a daily basis just lean into a little bit more of our edge to just connect more? And I know that's kind of why we're here today, right? And a great week of just, I did a workshop, as you know, Cedric, and it was on a similar, kind of similar conversations or similar insights that I've had. And I love the fact that you're kind of bringing this into today's discussion, because it's something that's just at the foremost of my thought right now. So how you doing?
I'm good, man. Good. Everything is, for the most part, good. Up and down struggles. Stuck in a little bit of fear around, marketing, doing some marketing and all that, working through all that. But I was listening to you talk, and I was thinking about the workshop, because we had a bang up time the beginning of the week. Ron did this amazing 3-day meditation workshop where you just connecting with yourself, getting to know yourself. And with that, coupled on with, some stuff I had happening to me this week and really it spurred from kids, y'all. Honestly, just talking to some little teen and high school cats, and them wanting to approach girls and how they were connecting to the world, other human beings. And that's what we wanted to kind of chop it up tonight about, man. Just, human connection. Like, what does it look like for you? How do y'all connect?
Mm-hmm.
What's some stuff that's holding you back from having genuine connection? Because I know, really, I had these conversations with these cats, Ron, and when I'm going through the meditation thing, that was kind of coming up, the conversations I was having with them, and just thinking about me, and I suffer with connection sometimes, and people probably don't even believe it, because they like, man, you're so outgoing. I'm sure you're like the biggest extrovert. And I'm like, nah, I'm the biggest introverted extrovert you ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I suffer with social anxiety, just like the next man. Um, and I have my ways of coping, joking or, I just dive. It's weird. I'll just talk to people just so I'm not thinking about it. I don't care what we talk about now. I'm finding a way to turn it into a joke. So I'm thinking, how can I make it funny? So my mind is there, right? What I know, man, like during the meditation, like what was coming up for me really was where I am now. And something we talk about a lot too is I'm managing my expectations and focusing more on my intentions. Because, and I can think, in this, like some of the thoughts that were coming up, I can think about, man, when I was out there chasing women, which is crazy enough, that was the environment I was around, and I just felt like that's what you had to do to fit in. But it was always scary for me, but now looking back, I can understand why, and why I really wasn't that successful or whatever. But it was always, I wasn't managing my expectations. I would go into a conversation and the expectation was to get this chick, or the expectation is to get a lot of money or to get something from somebody, and that was the whole intent, was me, 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 me. And I had these ridiculous expectations from the other people. I expected them and was never looking at how I needed to conduct myself. And it's just kind of interesting, like that's where I've grown, which is good. I'm able to look back and like, damn, all right, that's some messed up stuff right there. And I'm, just remember telling them young cats like, hey, well, going through, I'm coaching, going through a sequence, and just like, hey, finding out what was the expectation and well, what are your intentions when you're going into it? Because I can remember when we was talking about it in the beginning, intent, we was just talking all about intent. And man, that's a crazy thing, like how just shifting basically what you intend, what you want from it. Mm-hmm. Putting your wants in a pure place versus that selfish place. That's for lack of a better word, And that was just kind of interesting, man. So and now I'm just grateful that I was able to connect with myself, these 3 days. I probably wouldn't have did it that way had you not had the workshop. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think, well, I don't think, I know, and I really need to be mindful of that, because when we state something, right, we say, I think, or we don't oftentimes, kind of come more from a place of I know, right? So that can be, so this is kind of off topic, but I'm just listening to myself as I'm saying this and just saying I think, versus at times being willing to say I know, right? I know when I sat down and decided to do this workshop, my intention and my goal was to really keep me on my path, and whatever resonates out of that is exactly what needs to happen. So when you're speaking about kind of this interaction you had with these young kids and girls, and just how do we connect with girls, or how do we connect with people outside of us, it just kind of brought me back to when I was doing the instructions in the workshop, and really feeling really, I guess, had a better understanding that when we are looking to connect with others, or others are, we don't feel that connection with others, it's like, what's going on with our own connection with ourselves? And you mentioned that just at the tail end of what you just said. And I think that's, for me, in my, kind of where I'm at, is just knowing that that's where we need to start, right? Is how do I, what are the thoughts I'm having, these fulfilling thoughts, or these thoughts of being lesser than, or all these things that can come up, even all the way down to, how am I nourishing myself, whether it's my water intake or nutrition, and all these things that I'm, trying to keep myself connected to all parts of me, not just spiritually, not just, emotionally, but also just the physical part of who we are. and how are we really looking at all these, areas of our life within ourself, and making sure that that's connected and we're connected to that. Because I think we do at times look for those voids in our life that we're not connected with, and we're like seeking that in others. And I think that's possible that we can have that connectedness with others in those areas, but I guess it's taking that step back for me and seeing, these things that I'm trying to connect with others on. Do I have that connection with myself? And there's times where I can say yes and times that I can say no. So, knowing for me, when I don't feel like I'm fully connected, with the three different areas that I look at, connectedness with myself, and this is what the workshop was on, connectedness with myself, connectedness with others, and then connectedness with whatever that higher power is for you. When I reflect on that, it kind of gives me a better kind of picture of where my work is. Because, I can't seek that from others if I don't have that sense of stability and foundation within my life. So I'm interested, Cedric, because I got feedback, through the workshop. So I'm interested so now that I've kind of put these three topics out there, this connection with self, connection with others, connection with, something higher, a higher power. Did anything come up for you that you're connecting with when you're thinking about this topic of connectedness or connection, that you felt like there was maybe that lack of that you're feeling fulfilled on those areas and seeking it elsewhere?
Yeah. Like, it's strange. I feel connected to my growth. If that makes sense. Like, I feel it everywhere as I'm going through this now, whereas it was all head, just thinking. Now I'm feeling, and I'm like, whoa, I'm getting in touch with my emotions, and feeling okay about it, because now I can cry when I watch shows, and I'm perfectly okay with it. So I feel connected to my emotions now, where I thought I didn't have any, and I knew how to operate the switch in areas of opportunity. Like we were talking, and like I know I've cycled back into fear, so I'm feeling disconnected in that aspect, and somewhat even, man, if I was to be honest, like, even in my business now, it's just that phase. We have those ebbs and flows, and now, it's ebbing back out to the sea, and so now it's just that one. And so now, but working through it and feeling there, and then on like that higher power, I'm not gonna lie, it got a little bit more confusing. Because after, everything is just flowing, and it's so much that goes by, you just let it be. But once you come out of that state and you start to think about those things that were just thoughts that were just kind of passing by, that movie reel, because for me, that's kind of how it is when I'm meditating. It's almost like just a big movie playing, kind of, sometimes it speeds up, but I can still see it. Right. And then coming out, now I got the memory of that movie. And for some reason, I've been programmed, well, and I wouldn't even say programmed, because I believe it, that if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. And that's really scary for me, because everything that I grew up believing as I'm on my own journey is now confusing to me. And it's a lot of different stuff that's kind of, it makes sense, and I connect to it, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But a part of me is too afraid to commit to one thing, because, we all think about that afterlife, like, I want to get it right type of deal, So yeah, there's that one. So, but overall, I feel like that's just a part of the journey, and everything will fall into place the way it needs to, as long as I stay on that journey. It's just, I cannot quit, you know.
And I won't let you quit.
All right. And
go ahead, sorry.
no, and just being patient, because it's what's supposed to happen is happening now, and I'm supposed to be feeling this for whatever reason in the future. I don't know, but it's happening because it's supposed to. So
right,
that's the truth.
Right. And when I'm thinking about this now, you know, I think I guess I kind of feel like I put out there, like, connection has to be like this, you know, kind of, you know, positive feeling or fulfillment. And when I'm, you know, kind of hearing you talk and just kind of thinking back on, you know, what I've been saying and feeling and experiencing, you know, the connection can also come from just being aware of where you're at right now, right? And even if that's not where you want to be. So I think, you know, that can, which can lend itself to a lot more or less judgment, right? Because I think we, you know, I'm just, you know, now just kind of having this not out of body experience, but just thinking, you know, here I'm trying to really focus on myself, on connection with these areas of my life, sharing this with others, and kind of bringing this into a conversation. And then thinking about, you know, just part of that is just, you know, being aware of the awareness, right? And that's the sense of connection, right? So it's, you know, it's not, I guess when you don't feel connected is more when you're lost. You don't know what, you know, you don't know where to turn, what to do, how to react. So I guess it's kind of making me a little bit more aware of not feeling like I'm struggling when I'm not feeling that connection with myself, or that connection with others, or the connection with, you know, something, you know, earthly or something godly or something of the universe, but just knowing that I have that connection with where I'm at that point. So that's, for me, this is kind of eye-opening for me right now, because, you know, I don't judge myself as far as where I'm at per se, of not feeling that connection all the time with, you know, those three areas, but it makes me feel less, like it's less of I wouldn't say a task, but less of I don't have to influence it as much, knowing that as long as I know where I'm at and I'm connected to that, whether it's good or bad, just knowing, you know, that I'm in the right direction or I'm lacking and I'm connected to that, knowing what I need to do. That's still, I guess, a connection I need to experience and value that, and know that that's part of my journey.
Yeah, for sure, man. And y'all, I'm not trying to say we not gurus in the least, you know, because me, this is all working in my life, and you know what other people have done before me. And man, really, the way I see it is, awareness is almost the goal you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And it's a form of the ultimate connection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't even say a form. I think awareness is ultimate connection.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can deepen that awareness as you grow, you know, or what some people might say, quote unquote, enlightenment, or for, you know, the true enlightenment or whatever, you know. But I think the more you become aware, the more connected you become. And it's a cycle, at least for me, it's a cycle, because it's that new devil cycle. You know, you grow, and then you're here, and it's like, okay, and then you get deep, and then you face some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking to people, whereas you probably had social anxiety or whatever, and now I'm just connecting with humans better. And now it's like, okay, now I'm able to talk to them. Okay, what am I expecting from these people? And it's more growth. Okay, now I got my expectations, and now I'm still connecting, and it's just ongoing. So I believe it's the ultimate connection, and that's what people should seek. You know, is that awareness, and then deepen your awareness. And as those roadblocks come up, because sure enough, the more you become aware of the world and what's around you and the flowers, it just popped in my head. You might to smell the flower because now you're present. I'm being present. You stop to smell the flower, but now, boom, here's a big old bumblebee next to the rose now, right? It's like, oh shit, well, what do I do? And that's kind of like how life is sometimes. You know what I mean? You go to the next flower bush, sniff, and nothing's there, you know? So I totally get what you were saying, man. Like, for real, for real.
I love I haven't heard one of your magical phrases, the new level, the new devil. I love that. But you're exactly right, because, you know, it's like the only thing we really can connect to, right, is the present moment.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we can have some sort of connection to the past to a certain extent. We can connect with what our future might be. But really, I mean, if you really kind of boil it down to just the basics, and you speaking about awareness, it's like, that's truly all we can do is connect to as these words are coming out of my mouth, as these thoughts come into my mind, as this next, you know, second opens, you know, becomes available to me. That's and then it's gone, right? And, and there's still, I guess, a sense of a connection to what was or what might be, but that's still kind of fleeting, right? It's still not tangible. You know, the only thing that's really where we can connect, and that's, I guess, where we can really be, you know, more mindful of these things that we struggle with, that we don't have. We think we can have a deeper sense of connection, which is possible, but, you know, not to the point where the moment, the awareness in the moment, you know, the really the just be here now type mentality and the connection with that, knowing that that's going to enhance all these other connections because of the fulfillment you could feel out of that, because it's real.
Yeah.
We are getting very philosophical here.
I know, right?
We are the gurus. We are the gurus.
But man, something just popped in my head real quick, and I was like, man, I'm pretty sure somebody out there is in a relationship or probably wondering, you know, you probably like, man, I got all that under control. Like, man, y'all holler at me on some relationship stuff. So you being the pioneer, you know, when I look at it, like, we not married, y'all been married, hell, almost as long as I've been alive. So how do you connect with Danny, you know, especially after all these years, and do you see how it's changed, you know, from the second year to now, you know what I'm saying, double digits?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's definitely been different chapters in our lives of deeper connections and always having a sense of connection. But, you know, as things come up, as we go through different phases of our life, as a young boy comes into our life and changes everything 14 years ago, I mean, I'd be lying to you if there isn't that time where we have both either, you know, at the same time or at different times felt some sort of disconnect, whether it's how we communicate or what our experiences are, or, you know, just those things that, you know, that we look to, you know, kind of keep at the highest level because we're committed to each other. So connection for us has been, you know, it ebb and flows, right? I think you said that earlier. And I think that's how we look at our marriage is, you know, there's going to be times where it's going to ebb and flow. And that doesn't mean that we're not connected. There's going to be, you know, times based on the circumstances that we feel a deeper connection, but we also have to put in the work, right? We have to show up for each other. We have to, you know, kind of allow each other to have the space to be and to grow and to, you know, have these different things that happen to us in our lives that can create challenges, and be willing to share and grow and struggle and all these things that we have to go through to really understand where our work is. So it's, you know, we've been married 33 years, and it's, you know, I can't imagine not being with my wife. I can't imagine having, you know, an experience of life not going through what we've gone through. And it's you know, it's been up and down at times, not in a bad way, but just just the things that come up as a result, again, of just who we are at different times of our life, the things we're trying to be, things we're trying to achieve, going to school, growing our careers, all these things that, take time and persistence and energy that can take away from the relationship. So it's, how do we as a couple continue to have that foundational connection to where when we aren't in each other's presence or these challenges come up, we still know that that's there and it's a given. But I guess for me, I don't think we ever want to be just complacent that it can't be deeper, that it can't be lifelong, that it can't be something that is just eternal in nature. And I think that's what we're both committed to in our relationship, is just seeing this through and knowing there's going to be these ebb and flows from time to time, but knowing that the connection that brought us together in the first place is still there and important, and the foundation of who we are and why we're together as a couple.
Right. Unless it was a short skirt or something,
But I think that's where, not just men and women, that, we kind of sometimes take the easy way out. It gets tough and we don't feel a connection, or it's not, we're not getting what we think we need, and we're not willing to ask for it or share it or give it back to them or give them what they need. And then we wonder why that connection fades. We wonder why, we lose that, ability to have those, conversations that we once had. And, it takes a lot of energy, like with anything else, in life, you have to be willing to stick with it. And I spoke about that, in the workshop about, there's going to times that come up that you're sitting down and maybe experience a meditation, and you're going to have thoughts, or you're going to have judgment, or you're going to have these things that are going to make you feel like, I can't do this. And it's not about doing it. It's just sticking with the fact that you're just showing up for yourself. So I, kind of equate that to, my commitment to my relationship, with myself, with my wife, with my son, with my friends, to this podcast, just knowing that's just something that is going to ebb and flow. I mean, even our conversations or our connections from time to time have had challenges that have come up, and we've had to pause, or, we haven't felt the energy or whatever it might be, but that doesn't mean there's still not that underlying foundational connection that made us even think about doing this in the first place.
Right. And I'm glad you was talking about the ups and downs, because I was like, man, that would be kind of weird if it wasn't. That would be like kind of Twilight Zone intro. What was that? Amityville Horror. Like, that's too perfect.
Right.
Wait a minute. But yeah, man, that's exactly, man, as you were talking, it crossed my mind. I was like, you know what, man, in a relationship, if I had to come up with something, C equals C in a relationship, like communication equals connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's, when I look at, and I joke now, like, man, like, my girl, like, she has the best man in the world, because I can look back, and it's not that I'm thinking, man, I'm the best man in the world. It's the fact that I can look back and see the things that I did wrong, right? And be able to communicate that with her now,
Mm-hmm.
And we just had, and part of that was, there was no communication back then. You know what I'm saying? So the connection wasn't there for it to grow into anything that was like, that's the glue. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we never even created a glue, and that's like, now, we're talking like, man, hey, what are we gonna do here? How, like, it's every aspect of life. This is how I'm feeling. I never in the past would have told anybody how I was feeling. I'm a man. I don't know. I need to hold it in. I need to stick. But I'm noticing as we communicate more, and just, for me as a man, just be vulnerable and not scared to let her know, hey, I'm struggling here, or you're struggling there, is making a world of a difference, and hell yeah, you have those days. You might have days where you mad, or just like, okay, we're gonna stay at a distance, then you come back and boom, we talk it out or whatever. But yeah, man, see, especially in a relationship, I would say C equals C. Communication equals connection. And
Yeah.
the more you have it, that's what's gonna make that last with
Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
And,
we
and just trusting that connection, right? Just knowing that there's, you can ask those questions when you don't feel that connection, and show that vulnerable side of you, and ask, that when we're in situations, and you, the listener, when you're in situations where, any type of connection you have in your life, it could just, again, it could just be how you connect to yourself, or how do you connect with even the food you eat. How do what is your mindset when you're nourishing your body, or all the way up to how do you connect to nature, or whatever you connect to. It's just asking that question, what does that mean for me? So you, the listener that are listening, kind of wondering, this whole idea and conversation around connection, just being curious about what does that look like for you? How do you connect? Do you connect? If you do connect, what do you connect with? Are those nourishing things that you connect with that are providing you fulfillment, or are you connecting to things that aren't really serving you well? And then, without judgment, be able to go through that list and add more of what is serving you well, or start deleting those things that you feel connected to that aren't serving you well. And that could be a person, that could be a piece of food that's, it's not good for you. It could be a whole variety of things. So again, we could talk forever on this, because I think this comes from, well, I think this is the basis of why we do this connection that Cedric and I have built, and just being, not necessarily speaking or connecting all the time, we still feel that sense of connection. And that's what I love about this. That's what I love about what we put out there. We feel connected to what, this vulnerable side of ourselves. And again, you that might listen in, just, can you be curious about what you may or may not connect with in your life, and be willing to have those hard questions with yourself internally, or with others that you want a deeper connection with. What can we do to improve that? What can we do together or individually to really support what each other needs or wants or desires, so that connection can be deeper, and never feeling like we can't create a much, kind of denser experience of this connection that we all, even as a basic need in life, we all want to feel connected to something. We all need that sense of, feeling a part of humanity, feeling a part of, the universe, feeling a part of just life in general. Yeah. So I'm going to say my goodbyes, knowing this has been a week of connection for me, and I'm loving it. I love to just, we'll talk about this topic again, and it comes up in our conversations with other topics. So this won't be the last time that we talk about connection, but I feel a true connection with each and every one of you. Although some of you I've never met, don't know who's always listening in, who may, kind of pop in and get a few snippets of what we're saying, but I feel a connection from afar with you. So I appreciate whatever time, even if you just read the title of what we're talking about and you don't have the time to listen to what we're saying, I feel that connection, knowing that you have interest in what things might be possible for you. So I appreciate you, Cedric, appreciate this time, and deepest connections with you as you move forward in your day.
That's what's up. Yeah, man, y'all, my last words, I guess I would say, again, is C equals C. Communication equals connection. And just be open to it. Just play with it a little bit. That's me. Don't be afraid. And I think I would also say, the bigger the communication piece is, the bigger the connection, or the stronger the connection. And the doorway to strong connection would be vulnerability, which means just share who you are. The world is not full of all bad people. There are good people out there that you can be vulnerable with, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable with a stranger. Every friend you have, before they became your friend, they were a stranger.
Amen.
So, yeah, just be open to it, and just see, what if it, and yeah, that's all I would have to say at the end, y'all. I'll end it on that note because I'm
Beautiful.
connecting with y'all. Ron, I love it, man. Every time we connect, it's crazy. Like I always, like when we come on, man, every time on the video, I feel like we back in Dallas in November. I'm like, oh man, look at my boy, man. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Even though he be on my ass sometimes. Oh man. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, I know we boys, but I think Papa Ron coming out now. But yeah, I appreciate you for that, man. And that's that connection. Uh, from school and just us in general, and now we got the show. I love it. I love y'all, even though some of y'all I don't know. But if I ever see you in the world, if you see me, holler at me. So I can give you a big old hug because we got that connection. And until next time, y'all, I must say.
Namaste.